So welcome again, and let us on this day call in all the mothers, the grandmothers, and mentors that have shaped our lives. Can you feel it? They're here right now. And happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, heart to heart, 7.8 billion of us as we live as integrated souls, sharing it with others, as we naturally and authentically share it with the world. This, in turn, enables this deep interconnectedness to all things. We are designed and hardwired to connect. We all arrived here in the same way, through the womb of the Divine Mother, the womb of the Divine Mother. And what is beautiful about that is we live in a world of wonder. We arrived with curiosity and wonder to start every day anew. And we have the opportunity today to birth a new global planet. Because we were birthed through this womb of the feminine, each of us has the unique experience to cradle someone else, to cradle ourselves, and to cradle someone who may be in need of a cradle. Our divine connection with God in and through us, and that has always been. These curious times of 7.8 billion people, we need each other. And so let's weave this tapestry. And maybe a verse right now. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Are you with me? I think you are. You sang a song. That's great. Unity has always also taken great respect for Mother Earth because we can find certainty that in this mother expression of unconditional compassion, we can build a framework that will fertilize your soul and fertilize the soil with which we have every day. So, eyes wide open. Are they open? Ready to see? Good. So let's keep this clear, positive direction so that we can see things right. So a couple of jokes. First one for Mother's Day. Why is a computer so smart? Because it listens to the motherboard. You know that one, Cindy. And what did the mother rope say to her child? Don't be naughty. Don't be naughty. And what did the baby strawberry say to mom because he was very upset and crying? Well, because his mom was in a jam. Oh, he didn't like that very much. And last but not least, what did the mother broom say to the baby broom? It's time to go to sleep. I hope you don't go to sleep with this talk, though. So the great Myrtle Fillmore, who was one of the co-founders of Unity, said it this way: show me the seeds you sow and the thoughts you think, and I can foretell the manner of your harvest. For it is the same in our mind world or in the soil world. That's how connected we are. And as the co-founder of Unity, she knew this well. She kept vigilance in every thought she was thinking and allowing the heart to be the fertilizer for which her future grew. And when we do this, we can feel this expansion, this interconnected movement for all living things on the planet. And We are the soul family and the soil family. So, Jesus, the master teacher, and we have many masters on the planet, you all being masters too, saw things right. And in the early followers, they were eager for the new teachings. They were ready for Christ consciousness. And this teaching, this simple teaching, grew. You and I are one. One with God and one with each other. Wow. Living in this love and light consciousness, we can transcend ideas for living in love. Not only was this sent out to the spiritual leaders of the time and to families and all of us, but these wisdom teachings are in all corners of the earth, in every place, as people express this in their own practices. The method was simple. He did not put things right. He merely saw things right. There's a story of the young girl who was to be restored back to life. And he spoke out to all around him and said, "Who was it that touched me?" He was not speaking about the body or the clothing of his garment, which everybody around may have thought that was happening. Instead, he was speaking of consciousness. Reach out and touch somebody with your consciousness. Myrtle Fillmore said it this way: since two or more are gathered, we have tremendous power that Jesus promised. What power could be released if thousands could be united, thinking one thought? And that thought? Love. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore spoke very eloquently about Mother, Father, God. Ed Rabel, who was one of my Unity teachers when I studied at Unity Village, said it this way. He said it was based on an ancient theological insight and metaphysical symbols which had their origins prehistorically. Masculine and feminine are terms which need to be viewed on a level of meaning higher than the physical body, or personality types or traits. In metaphysical terminology, the masculine principle is the active energy generating power, and the feminine principle is the more passive aspect, the matrix from which energy can be generated. Both are necessary for existence, for manifestation, and for human and spiritual evolution. God is the divine source of the masculine and feminine principles. We relate this to source. Hence, we have the beautiful concept of Father, Mother, God. And if you were ever in a class with Ed Rabel, he would follow it up with, "Did you get it? Did you get it?" He always wanted to make sure that we had this understanding of this male and female that works with us. Mary Magdalene was Jesus' closest confidant, and he had such a deep connection with her. She had left the city of Magdala, which meant tower. It was the ancient city on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. She was a Jewish woman who, with Jesus, was one of the earliest followers. She left her family. She left her old ways of thinking and being, and we can learn much from Mary and her deep connection and commitment to her divine nature. She was led by these teachings, and she was a central figure in Gnostic Christian writings, and also from the Gospel of Mary, which many scholars attribute that she actually scribed. These texts portray Mary as an apostle, Jesus' most closest and beloved disciple, and the one who truly understood his teachings. In these texts, Mary Magdalene knew that she was not going to be portrayed as the prostitute, which everyone around wanted to see her as. Instead, she was and still is an incredible force in our lives. In 581 AD, Pope Gregory I had said these sorts of things about her. But in 2016, Pope Francis declared that Mary Magdalene was the apostle of the apostles. Wow. Take that in for a minute. Beautiful. So, my dad, he was so immersed in the heart, just like my mother was. And my father expressed kind and compassionate ways of being in every action that he took. Whether it was waking up in the morning to find little treats beside the pillows of his 3 girls, I being one of them, to the smile of unconditional love that he would give, not only to my mother and the children, but to all around him. And one spring morning, I watched curiously, peering through the small opening of the bathroom door. A bee had shown up. I think that bee had been there before because my dad seemed to be prepared for it. He had a little vial of honey and some toothpicks. And he dipped the toothpick in the honey and he fed the bee. Now, that bee showed up many times over the early days of the winter thaw and the spring arriving, and he fed the bees. I watched every morning, and one of these days he called to me, "Come help me feed the bee." And I did. And to this day, I love bees. I've never forgotten it. It's etched in my mind. My father expressed the Mary Magdalene energy. And we all have poignant times in our life where our mother-father-God connection had impact, and it was brought to the surface of our everyday experience, and it had a profound impact. And I want all of you in this moment to think of the moment where that happened to you, where it was such a strong impact that it has carried you in times when you may have had a difficult day. In fact, I even wore my dandelion dress today because when the bees come, we know that spring is here because they eat the pollen from the dandelions to make their honey. And Lyle's not here right now, but I want to thank him as well. He takes care of the garden out front. It's that beautiful job he does. And there's some beautiful river grass that stands up above the plants out there. And actually, the word river grass in First Nations tradition is the word musqueam. And of course, where we live, that is one of our First Nations communities. We have time to express love beautifully. And guess what? You are a divine expression. So let's say this affirmation together now. I am divine love in expression. Let's say it again. I am divine love in expression. And we bless this world. We continue to bless this world. And on this Mother's Day, we are also blessing our Mother Earth. We are in it together, 7.8 billion strong. And we inhabit this in the less crowded areas and the most crowded areas. I was recently on a global prayer call. Actually, it was on Zoom, because we're all Zooming these days. And I met a wonderful couple from India who live in Mumbai, very close to the most populated area in the world. This area of Mumbai is known as Darva, an area that is 1 square mile, and the population is 1 million people in 1 square mile. So during this time, let's remember our personal responsibility to be in this high vibration. Can you imagine living with 1 million people in a square mile? But they stay in love with their brothers and sisters. And sometimes it's not a choice. But living in this close quarters, in this moment, let's send our prayers out to them, because they are living in the vibration of love, and the more love we send to that part of the world, we can feel it as well. They seem to know how to be good neighbors. They seem to know how to be good neighbors. And so this friendship circle that we speak about, ask yourself about your own friendship circle or your own family circle. Are you getting along with your neighbors? But most importantly, are you getting along with yourself? How are you doing with that? Are you strengthening your meditation and prayer practice so you can deepen your divine nature? Are you? Hope so. Maybe a few hands go up. Rumi, the great philosopher, said it this way: we are born of love, and love is our mother. Love is our mother. And this knowledge can deepen us, and our self-awareness can be the key to understanding this deep connection to our inner self. In every behavior, every thought, every action, we keep it moving. So another mother wisdom: when you hear the toilet flush and you hear the words, uh-oh, it's already too late. So let's work on our uh-ohs and try to catch ourselves before we get to that point. 7.8 billion strong, and you're one of them, each and every one of you. So every issue that you are facing, and every issue that we are facing together globally, let the light carry us. Let the light carry us. And if you have an issue in your tissue, so to speak, it's time to let it go, so you can birth the heart that allows us to focus our attention on what's needed most. This is a wonderful affirmation from Unity as well. I am a spiritual being bestowed with great power. I am a spiritual being bestowed with great power. Or maybe, there we go. This inner force enables us to connect with all living things and create harmony within all living communities. 7.8 billion people, and I choose all of you today. I choose all of you to be in my circle. And who do you choose to love today? Are you listening to who you need to love today? And make a decision. You all have access to it. Everyone has access to it. And so the world is at your fingertips. Every day your world is allowing you to put it in your hands. And when we do that, we can see the heart through the lens of love. Both Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were, I call, sacred scientists the melding of science and spirituality together, always seeing life through the lens of the heart and spiritualizing the intellect. And we have a great Irish Canadian named Diana Beresford Kroger, who's actually going to be coming to Vancouver in the fall. And she's so committed to the earth and our connections, but mostly in the area of trees and nature. And this is a sacred scientist's view. When I asked her this question, what is needed most on the planet right now? And this is what she said. And it is quoted in the New York Times as well. Everybody needs to hold hands together and send a blessing into the world. That is powerful. Holding hands across the world and sending blessings to it. Cradling the earth as we cradle each other. And so, here's a little bit of something that you can do every night before you go to sleep. Powerful affirmations to awake, refreshed into the holy being that you are, called you. And here it goes. Say these in your own mind. I have done my best for today. I have earned my rest for tonight. I have put my love into all my deeds. I have used kindness in all my thoughts. I close this day with pure joy and now drift into sound sleep. Wow. Wow. What you seek is seeking you. Love has already sought you and found you. Choose love consciousness. That is what you are made of. Heart to heart. And we want to wish you a happy Mother's Day today. A happy, happy Mother's Day today. And I will end with a most important poem, and take this in, by Chief Dan George, our beloved elder who has since passed on from here in this region of the country, of the world, and yet he still lives on. And here it goes. It's called My Heart Soars. The beauty of the trees, the softness of the air, the fragrance of the grass speaks to me. The summit of the mountain, the thunder of the sky, the rhythm of the sea speaks to me. The faintness of the stars, the freshness of the morning, the dewdrop on the flower speaks to me. The strength of fire, the taste of salmon, the trail of the sun, and the life that never goes away. And that's the way it really is.